Let's react to her video. Let's react to this video. This video is called, yes, transphobes have a fear of trans people. But again, as I'll just repeat myself. Yesterday I mentioned, I think that at least transphobic men, a lot of them like act like they're disgusted with trans women specifically because they have this mentality that if they're attracted to a man, that they're homosexual. But since it's like so ingrained in their mind by other people, other men mainly, that trans women are men, it comes off to them that they're being gay, that they're attracted to a woman. So I think that's like the entire basis of why you see so many transphobic men.
They're always like, we're not transphobic, nobody's scared of trans people. But it's like, yeah, you are. You are. There's no reason why somebody would act so irrationally towards people just existing. Like, you're scared that children being taught that trans kids exist turns them trans and is grooming, and like you use fear tactics in order to push propaganda and make people, especially conservatives, stop thinking critically and just be like, yeah, these are demons. Like transphobia, homophobia, and so on, it is based in fear. It is like your feelings, irrational feelings, having
irrational feelings towards something you don't understand. A lot of them are like afraid of the world changing. I mean, that's kind of like the whole basis of conservatism, is that they want things to stay the same. They don't want to like have to change their values or their views. They just want to stick with the past. This whole idea of conserving the past or being a conservative, because a lot of people have like traditional values and they think like they have to stick to those traditional values to actually like continue along with the world. And that's why progressive people are usually better at having empathy and understanding people better, at least especially from like saying trans people or like people who belong to minority groups, like racial minority groups or being gay, stuff like that. We go through their own little struggles. If you actually go through struggles like that as a minority, you're more likely to be progressive because you don't want to like continue the cycle.
Society of everything that is like different. That's how conservatives are being indoctrinated and so on and brainwashed. Like, they are scared. They actually are terrified. And then there are also like these transphobes who are like scared that they are, you know, attracted. They're like straight men attracted to a trans woman, and that makes them gay.
I did not pre-watch this, by the way. Like, I really want to like iron that in. I don't pre-watch her videos. We just think very similarly. Just let you know. Don't like shur me or anything. I'm just telling you, I did not pre-watch this.
And they're like terrified of that. They're terrified of walking down the street, seeing pretty women, and, you know, finding out that she has a penis, because that would mean that they're gay, apparently. So they're hyper fixating on like genitalia. They're like, oh, we can always tell, but that's not the case. That's why
they can't always tell, like, ever. They can't always tell. I started transitioning in 2022, and I think it only took me a year to pass fully. And I would like occasionally get misgendered, mainly for my height. I'm like 5'11" and like a half or something. But that's the only time I would ever get misgendered. And I was also like voice trained the entire time, so that really helped me with the two. But in like the last year, the only time I've ever been even close to misgendered was when some man was at my work and was asking for where something was. And I turned around and he saw my pride pin on my shirt. And I was trying to like help him. And he's like, I don't want help from you. I can't tell what gender you are. So that's like the only time I've experienced transphobia IRL. And it's just because I had a pride pin on. And I've experienced something similar with having pride pins on too. Like, I've had the opposite too. I remember there was some lady who came up to me and asked where something was, and she walked up to me, and I turned around and I was helping her, and she's like, oh my god, I am so sorry. I just assumed, because she called me ma'am, she's just like, I just assumed you just look so feminine. She thought I was a trans man or like non-binary or something because I had a pride pin on. So people just can't tell. They really can't tell. All the transphobia will end after they see a right-wing trans. Oh god.
Alright, it's time to address the nose ring drama. So if you haven't seen my latest video where I made this new nose ring right here, people are essentially calling me every name under the sun because I had the Reichsadler on my jacket. So I need to tell you guys a little something about me. And you can call me crazy, you can call me whatever you'd like, any name under the sun. But I'm very in tune with my past and my past lives and lifetimes that I've lived before this one. My last life just so happened to be a very infamous one. Me offing myself was one of the first memories I had from that lifetime. It came to me when I was 5 in my nightmares. You can see right where I shot myself too. That and just so many other things throughout my life have connected me to my past. And you can go say, oh, go get on your meds again, you nutter. I've been on so many meds and none of them have changed what I saw when I was 5.
You were saying?
Trans panic defense is even like a thing. You can't push the idea that you can always tell and then...
By the way, the trans panic defense, so this is the protections. Oh, ad break. Let me go get some water while the ad break is going on. Looks like we're back. Can you say something about society that is very on point that I can clip out of context for clout and attention? Unfortunately, I'm not a puppy girl. I can't just do things on command. It just doesn't work like that. We live in a society. There's a lot of trans people and gay people in society, and that's a good thing. Okay, so as I was talking about, chat, the trans panic or the LGBTQ trans panic attack defense is something that is happening in the US. I'm not sure if it's in other countries, but in the US, basically, someone can murder a gay person or a trans person or a queer person, and they can claim that they did it because they were scared, and they can get away with it. That's what the trans panic attack or LGBT panic attack is. Because it used to be used against gay people like a while ago, but now it's starting to get used against trans people, and it's happened a few times in the US in the last few years. That's what the LGBT panic defense is. So there's only one, there's 1, 2, 3, all the gray you can see right here. These still have the panic defense. The ones in the blue have they have stuff in the legislation like to prepare to ban it. And the ones in red have already passed legislation to ban that defense. So this is what the trans panic defense is.
You know, expect us to always reveal to everybody we ever meet to come out as trans to them, to shield them, to stop them from being physically attracted to us. And then, you know, having that fear of being seen as like gay or something turn into anger and disgust, and then coming after us, assaulting us, right? It is fear.
It's not been used very much enough for it to become a widespread issue of basically claiming someone's trans, but it has happened a few times where cis people have been accused of being trans and they've been assaulted because of it, and they get away with it because of the panic defense.
You cannot tell me that you can look at the anti-trans propaganda and be like, oh yeah, this is rational and based in science and reality. It's not. It's just fear. It's lies. It's slander. It's like, oh, these trans identified males are going and invading women's spaces. Oh, I'm not transphobic because I'm not scared of you. Yes, you are. Otherwise, you would critically engage with the things that we are saying and just
What you guys are saying in chat, the people most insistent that we're not gay are the ones pushing for mandatory penis inspection day, and other people saying similar things. They never know how to deal with someone like me. Say there's a hypothetical situation where there's some type of thing that's going to detect if you have a penis and that stops you from going in the women's restroom. How does that account for people like me? Because I still hear it all the time that I don't belong in the women's restroom, even though I have a vagina. So how does that account for people like me who got bottom surgery and live my life as a woman in every single aspect of my life? My birth certificate says female. My driver's license says female. If I had a passport, it would say female. But since people try to determine that trans women are men and, male, just because people have determined that, I'm lying by going into the women's bathroom, even though I don't have the tools or the right hormones, that are typically associated with males. So they never know how to account for that. And it's so crazy hearing it over and over again, because I always heard it so much. You shouldn't go in the women's bathroom if you got a penis. And it's I don't have one. So where do I go? But the simple fact is they don't want us to go anywhere. They just don't want us to exist. They don't want trans people to exist. They want us gone. And it's the exact same playbook that they used against gay people. It's misogyny, bigoted bullshit.
Listen for once. We are seen as lesser. We are being sexualized. We are being fetishized. We are seen as something that purely exists to satisfy the urges of people in positions of power.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Having a penis doesn't automatically make you a man and vice versa. Yeah, that's very true. Because besides the fact that obviously gender is a social construct, there's also the fact intersex people, some of them have both, but people don't seem to understand that genitals do not define who you are as in a social sense. It's the way you carry yourself in a social way. It's the way you present yourself. Like, you know, do you have longer hair? Do you talk in more of a feminine tone, in a softer tone? Do you have, you know, you have body proportions typically associated with, you know, that sex? People like always account for that stuff. No one ever actually looks at genitals unless it's coming to like a partner. Where is this obsession with genitals come from? And then you like think really hard about it, and you think about how they're always constantly like claiming that trans people are like sex predators and stuff. And the reason they do that is because they're fucking obsessed with trans. They just sit there and they fucking gobble up the fucking trans constantly, and they're just constantly watching that stupid trans, and they associate trans people with sex because of that.
And then on top of that, the propaganda is like, oh, trans women go into women's spaces to do harm. Trans women are actually mentally ill and they are going to commit school shootings and so on. Everything is just propaganda. It's fear. And then they're trying to gaslight you and tell you that no, we're not transphobic. Actually, this is just like reality and like facts. We're just noticing patterns. Like, no, you don't. If you could notice patterns, you would realize that the same propaganda that is used against trans people right now has been used against gay people.
I did not pre-watch this chat. Oh my god.
40 years ago, with like Margaret Thatcher saying the same shit about gay people that they are now saying about trans people. If you could notice patterns, you would realize how the Trump admin is being fascist. If you could actually notice things in the real world without your mind being occupied by this fear of the unknown, of people that are other than you, you wouldn't be a conservative. You would be more progressive.
I mean, they've already like proven that you're more progressive the more struggle you go through in life, but it's also because you're more intelligent. So when you see these people who get their opinions from like Fox News or, you know, either some like media or even like big chud, you know, Twitch streamers, they don't think for themselves. They just want to find people who agree with them. And they don't ever try to like think outside the box or like think outside their world. They're very one-dimensional. They live in echo chambers. It's disgusting to have to constantly deal with this, honestly.
Uptake in calling us lappers right now. Yeah, it's like the idea that like, oh, there was this huge boom of like everybody starting to identify as trans. It's like, oh yeah, still 1% or whatnot.
The reason why people are starting to see trans people more is because they constantly put us up in the media. They're constantly talking about us. That's all they fucking think about 24/7. For people who are claiming that we make trans being our entire identity, they just talk about us 24/7, and they're constantly bringing us up and they're constantly attacking us. And then they're all like, well, where all these trans people come from? And it's like, you're seeking us out and you're seeking where we are, and the algorithm pushes that shit on you because that's what it thinks that you like. It thinks that you like, you know, associating with trans people, so it's going to constantly push you towards them. So it's just propaganda. But even then, it's also, as society has become more accepting, people are more comfortable coming out. So it's the same with, it's the whole left-handed, it's this meme right here. It's the same thing. Because it was like not socially acceptable to be left-handed back in like the early 1900s. You see, it was like a 4% right here, drop down here. That's when they started like actually like demonizing people who had, you know, used their left hand. And then as time went by, it became more socially acceptable, and it just hung at 12%. It's the same fucking thing. As you know, people's values change and how progression changes with the real world, people are gonna be more accepting, and then it'll just like even out.
Them hating us, them legislating against us, taking away our healthcare, our resources, trans people losing their jobs, their housing, trans people being put at risk, being hate crimed all of the time, wanting to be invisible because like even if you just...
And then also constantly talking about how trans people like struggle to keep jobs and stuff, and it's because we're demonized constantly. And then they were like, well, why are you all in sex work? And it's like, because it's the only, like, some trans people, that's the only work they can get. Because I have a personal friend, and I love her so much. She struggles to get jobs because she is a visible trans person. And the only time she really gets a job is when she goes back in the closet. She just goes back in the closet and she acts like a man. And that's how she gets jobs. And the fact that she has to live her life and actually go through that is so ridiculous. I've heard her tell me stories of times that she's gotten an interview with someone and she's really excited about this job to go to this interview. Like she even like tells them that, hey, I'm trans, just to let you know. She goes to the interview, then she gets the call and saying, oh, we're not interested, like immediately afterwards. And it's like, trans people are so discriminated against, and I really hope that we do pass like some kind of Bill of Rights eventually here in the US to like actually go after these people that have discriminated against people like us for no reason.
Have your pronouns in your bio on social media, you're going to get harassed. Even if you just speak up for trans rights, even as like a cis person, people will just like harass you and assume that you're trans. And that's just like, you know, a social media trend.
I've seen that firsthand so many times.
And then you do it for clout or whatnot. Then you see less and less people being openly trans, and they believe that that is proof that this was just a trend, when they are just bullying us, forcing people to detransition, forcing people back into the closet, into hide.
I didn't pre-watch this. I didn't pre-watch this chat, I promise. I'm telling you, we just like, we think very alike. We think very alike. Just like, please believe me. Sex is a spectrum categorized based on collection of biological traits. Gender is spectrum categorization based on sociological and societal retaliation with oneself, relation to oneself. Both are usually you're using too big of words for me. I'm sorry. I'm just a dumb bitch. Okay. You're using these big ass words and I'm like, I feel like I'm reading the Final Fantasy text because I'm like blah, 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 blah.
And then they use it as a justification to keep forcing us and bullying us into hiding. Like, if somebody could actually recognize patterns and have the capability of critically think, they would realize that everything that they are dealing with is actually incredibly irrational. It is based on fear. That's how propaganda works. That's how far-right propaganda has always worked, with like the, oh, they are other, they are coming for your jobs, they are coming for women and children.
They're coming after the nuclear family.
They're disrupting the harmony in society. They are the problem. They are the ones driving up the prices and so on. And because they look different than you, you're like, I have people who look like me, who look like the ones who raised me, the people that I grew up with, tell me that these groups that are different because of their ethnicity, because of their gender identity, because of their sexual orientation, you're like, oh, they are other. I will trust the people who look like me, and I'm terrified of engaging with the people who look other. Like, that's how it works, right? The AfD in Germany wants to bring back homeschooling.
I think she put it way better than I did, because I don't ever hear about this shit coming out of other countries. I don't hear about other countries like playing this fucking social politics and bullshit. It only happens in the US and like the UK. Like, why is it only happening in Europe and the US? Like, you don't hear about it down in Brazil. You don't hear about it in Africa. Like, what is going on, and why is it so? It's just Western society, and I feel like it's like white dominated society that's the only places that have these issues.
In order to isolate people, they push the propaganda that like, oh yeah, in schools, like all of these children are growing up with like all of these Muslims.
Dumb bitch.
The good German children are around these savages.
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
God damn it, can I speak, please? They push this idea that like, oh, these invaders, these foreign invaders are taking the spots and disrupting, and German children need to grow up with other German children. And then they want to push for like homeschooling, so these children don't even grow up with like a diverse surrounding. They want to isolate them so they can groom them into their fascist propaganda later on, so they can raise them
Shut
this
the
way.
fuck up, bitch.
God damn it! Anyways, so when people say they are not transphobic because they're not afraid of us, not only is that incorrect, and actually, you know, transphobia also refers to an aversion, but they are, in fact, afraid of us. They are afraid that us being in public life, having gay people be in public lives and kissing each other, that like children are going to see that and then they're going to be converted or whatnot in this cult. Like that is fear. That is not something rational. That is not something logical. I grew up around cis people all of the time. I watched movies with purely just cis people. I didn't have like any trans representation. I am still trans. I never talked.
It's kind of funny thinking back on that, and like I never really watched, like I remember like being younger, we always avoided any gay or lesbian movies and stuff because it was seen as wrong. And it's like now I see it and it's so exciting to see it. Like I love watching movies about like fucking like gay couples or lesbian couples, and there's like a few movies I've watched that are about trans people, and it's like I feel so like seen and like heard when I watch those movies, and I just wish there was way more of it. There's not really that much
about the fact that I'm trans. I am still trans. And I didn't turn trans when I hit 18 and I started to decide that this is like the right path for me. I didn't turn trans because as a kid, as a young boy, I felt too neglected by society, and actually being a boy, being a man is too tough, so I had to become a woman. I was trans because I was born this way. From a young age, from a really young age, I knew that my life would be better if I was a girl. I wanted to, not because being a man is too tough or whatnot, because like it felt weird to me that I wasn't born female. And it's so fascinating to me that like people are incapable of listening to me because they are being taught that I am a demon, that I am a parasite, that I am subhuman, whatever, that I am a groomer or whatnot. So they don't even rationally engage with the things that I'm saying. They don't care about my lived experience because it doesn't match their own. Even if I use research and whatnot to back this up, they're just going to dismiss it anyways. But I feel like if a trans person is telling you something about their identity, telling you about like their own experiences, the source, trust me bro, should literally just be enough.
Good topic. We definitely need more gay movies. We should make the phobes pay for it. If they want to lock us up at home, we should at least pay for entertainment. I don't know. I feel like it's okay. So this is my hot take. I really don't feel like there's really a such thing as like heterosexual. I don't really think there's a such thing as gay. I think sexuality is a spectrum, and everyone's a little gay. Like it just depends on like what you're comfortable with. It's just society pushes you down for liking things that you shouldn't like. So like men might find actually a little attraction to men, as you can see by Asmon's stupid ass post the other day, where he said that men were more attractive than women. Like there was so many people agreeing with him. Like that's like definitely proof that sexuality is kind of a spectrum. I don't know. I feel like everyone's a little gay. It just depends on what you're attracted to, and you might be fully attracted to women. Let's put you in the shoes of like a guy, like a typical guy. You might be fully attracted to women, but you might find some men attractive. You could call yourself straight still, but like you wouldn't really know if you're gay until you try it, you know? So, but even then, it would depend on the person. Like maybe you just like hanging around guys, but you don't like want to have like a sexual relationship with them. You could still be like gay or whatever, because like I don't know. Have you ever like hung out with straight men? They're so fucking gay. Straight men are so fucking gay. Like I can't begin to like iron that in. They're so fucking gay. Truth nuke. My straight friends are the gayest. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That's a good video. It's funny how all these like I'm starting to do these react streams for Nyara's content, and I end up just like saying all her points before she says them because we are just so alike, and like we have like the same type of like brain thinking. You're also woke, so yeah, I am really woke. You two are the same people. Have you ever seen us in the same room, like ever?
She's going, her head stays forward and she drops hot takes like she just don't care. Your precious lady is about to arrive. Wouldn't advise getting on her bad side. Don't know if she has talent, but she just might. Everybody questioning who the best druid around is. Like who is? It's the pretty pink icon. Whooith.